Bonjour tout le monde, hi everyone. Today I'd like to tell you a little bit about a few words or expressions that I hear all the time, that I see in books, and that I think you should know so that you can correct people who misuse it. First of all, I'd like to talk about the verb étudier that you see in all books. Well, keep that in mind. The French almost never use the verb étudier. Ooh, breaking news. Yes, we don't use it, and I think most of us find it very annoying to find it all the time in books. We just don't use it. So what do we say for to study? We use the verb travailler, yes, to work. That's what we use all the time for the verb to study. We always say, ce soir je travaille, tonight I'm studying. Ce weekend, je travaille, I'm studying. D'accord? That's why you'll hear a lot of French people come to the US or England and say, oh, you know, I worked so much in high school. They didn't mean they work for money, they mean they work for school. The French also use the colloquial verb bosser about as much, and it also means to work and to study. So you hear French people say, oh, ce soir je bosse, tonight I'm working or I'm studying. It depends on the context, okay? So take the verb étudier and throw it in the trash. We almost never use it. The second word I'd like to mention is the verb réussir that you all have to learn at some point. Réussir is really the verb to succeed or to manage, and unfortunately many books will give it to you as the verb to pass an exam, okay? Unfortunately, no one has ever said, oh, j'ai réussi for an exam when they pass. Just take a look at this.
Aujourd'hui, c'est les résultats. Est-ce que vous l'avez eu?
Oui.
Oui.
Ouais, j'ai eu peur, mais ouais.
Non, je l'ai pas eu, je suis au rattrapage à 8,23.
Oui, je l'ai eu avec une mention assez bien.
J'ai la mention bien. Bah oui. Moi je l'ai. Oh putain, je suis trop heureuse. Oh là là.
Yeah, as you can see, to say I pass, we say je l'ai eu. I passed, I got it. That's what we say. I've had it, but I have gotten it. D'accord? I passed, je l'ai eu. Okay? Did you pass? Yes, I passed, je l'ai eu. Talking about exams. Yes, in Spanish, un examen is indeed a quiz or a test, not in French. In French, an examen is really an exam like the SAT or the AP exam or the bar exam, okay? If you just take a quiz or test at school, it's not an examen, okay? It's called un interro, short for une interrogation. So of course we talked about to pass, we have to talk about the verb to fail. All your books are going to tell you that it's the verb échouer. Yes, originally the verb to fail is échouer, but we just don't use it for exams and tests. Instead, the French will use the verb rater, which is like the verb to miss. Yes, I know you're thinking of manquer, but most of the time if you say, oh, I missed my bus, you're not going to say, j'ai manqué mon bus. You're going to say, j'ai raté mon bus. That's what the French will say. Again, there's a big discrepancy between what you have in your books and reality. Huge gap. So if you want to say, I failed my exam, you say, j'ai raté mon examen. I failed on my test, j'ai raté mon interro. Échouer is a very formal verb. The verb échouer is used for bigger events, bigger circumstances, so we don't use it all that much. Another verb I'd like to mention is the verb assister. Again, you'll find assister in all books. Assister à this, assister à that, concert, everything. We almost don't use it. You use the verb to attend in English a lot. That's just a normal verb in English. Assister à is not in French. Most of the time, I would say at least 90% of the time, if not 95% of the time, when you use the verb to attend in English, we'll just use the verb to go in French. Aller. I attended Harvard. Je suis allé à Harvard. We'd only use the verb assister à to attend like a big speech, you know, or inauguration ceremony. Another expression that I profoundly dislike and that you're drilled on over and over again in class is aimer mieux. It's okay in English to say, I like it better, I like doing this better, I like doing that better. But it's improper in French. It's very poor French to say, j'aime mieux faire ceci, j'aime mieux faire cela. My mother, who was a great grammarian, used to, hit me on my knuckles when I was a kid because she said, just stop saying that, it's improper. You say, je préfère faire ceci, je préfère faire cela. Not j'aime mieux. That's terrible French. Okay, so I'm sorry you have to learn that in class. You should never use that. I think the only reason why you have that in all those books is not only because all book authors copy off each other, but also because it's in Le Petit Nicolas. If you've never heard Le Petit Nicolas, read the books. It's very interesting. It's funny. It's a good way to learn French. And it's from the perspective of a child about 8 years old. That's why he doesn't speak French, doesn't write French very well. but that's from the perspective of a child. Apparently, book authors didn't get that. Another verb I want to tell you about is the verb retourner. The only meaning of retourner is to go back somewhere. So if you want to say, I'm going back to France this summer, that would be je retourne en France cet été. That's fine. But please do not translate retourner by to return something to someone. No, it doesn't work that way. It sounds wrong almost every time. Okay? Sometimes it might be possible to use it, but don't bother. Most of the time, rendre is the verb to return something, to give something back to someone. D'accord? Retourner is only to go back somewhere. Or to flip something over. J'ai retourné la crêpe. I also see the adjective bon marché all the time in books. It pertains to books and books only. People almost never use bon marché. Strangely enough, to say something is cheap, we're just going to say it's not expensive. We're going to say c'est pas cher, as if pas cher was an adjective in itself. D'accord? So c'est pas cher is cheap. C'est bon marché, it's fine, we understand. Some people of a certain generation might use it, but mostly we don't. Okay? So c'est pas cher, it's cheap. C'est bon marché? Yeah, it's cheap, but who says that? Here's another one. Comme ci, comme ça. Please stop saying that. It's very annoying. Comme ci, comme ça. Again, it's kind of oldish. We don't use it much anymore. Comme ci, comme ça. If you want to say sort of, you say bof. It's ugly. It's now in the dictionary, by the way. But that's what people will say. Bof. Did you like the movie? Tu as aimé le film? Bof. Sort of. D'accord? Here's another one that I profoundly dislike and that I see in books every day and that you get drilled on all the time. J'ai été, in the sense of I've been to a place. It's very improper French. Kids tend to say that a lot when they're kids, and then teachers and parents usually slap their fingers and say, no, you don't say that. You don't say j'ai été quelque part, you say je suis allé. Okay? It's fine in English because when you want to say I have gone somewhere, it's a little different than I have been. Okay, so it's fine in English, not in French. So I've been to France, je suis allé en France. People should never say j'ai été en France. It's horrible French. Some people will say it, but they don't know French. Okay? And here's one more for all the good teachers who do their best to teach French in classroom, but who never got the chance to live in France. Please stop saying bonjour class when you walk into the classroom. A classroom is une classe. It's mostly for the classroom, not the people. Nobody has ever walked into a classroom and said bonjour classe. You feel like you're talking to the walls, okay? So bonjour tout le monde, hi everyone. That's all. Which leads me to my last point. Don't say you went to une classe de français, une classe de yoga, une classe de science. It's un cours. A class of something is un cours. Un cours de français, un cours de yoga, un cours de science. Except for the French who live in America, or Australia, or England, their French is anglicized. And so they will say une classe de ci, une classe de ça, but that's not what we use in France, okay? It's un cours de quelque chose. All right, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this little video. You learned something. If you have questions or comments, please leave them below. I'll be happy to answer, and I'll see you soon for another video. Salut!